do not deserve such a weapon.
It is the year 2563, 3 centuries after a massive war known as the Fall between Earth and the United Republic of Mars. In a vast scrapyard, a middle-aged man named Dr. Dyson Ito searches through the debris. Amid the wreckage, he discovers the remains of a cyborg girl. To his amazement, her head and central core are still functional, and her human brain is alive.
You're alive?
Intrigued by the rarity of such advanced technology, Ito takes her back to his clinic, determined to restore her to life. In his workshop, Dr. Ito and his assistant meticulously connect the cyborg girl's head to a beautifully crafted new body. The next morning, she awakens in a cozy bedroom, surprised and fascinated by her transformation. Gazing at herself in the mirror, she marvels at her new form. After getting dressed, she heads downstairs, where Dr. Ito is busy tending to other cyborg patients. Ito is pleased to see her awake and offers her some breakfast. As she tries to eat a simple piece of fruit, she realizes she doesn't remember how, revealing that she has no memories of her past. Ito admits he hasn't found any records of who she is, either. Later, the girl steps outside and experiences Iron City for the first time. It's a rough, working-class place, crowded and gritty. Looking up, she catches sight of Zalem.
Yeah! What's that?
The last of the great sky cities, floating above, home to the privileged elite. Ito tells her that after the war, survivors settled in Iron City, where all labor now serves the needs of Zalem. However, no one from Iron City is ever permitted to ascend to the Sky City. Dr. Ito gives the girl a name, Alita,
I love it!
and invites her to stay with him. Later, as he heads out to run some errands, he brings Alita along, giving her a chance to explore the city. Along the way, she watches an intense motorball match on a giant screen and even befriends a stray street dog. Alita also comes across a wanted poster offering a bounty for a criminal who murdered 6 women. Just then, a massive robot suddenly appears in the street, and Alita instinctively shifts into a defensive stance. A young man named Hugo quickly pulls her out of harm's way, but Alita rushes back to rescue the dog. Hugo is impressed by her bravery, though he warns her not to interfere with the Centurions, the powerful enforcers that patrol and protect Iron City. Alita and Hugo quickly hit it off, but their moment is cut short when Ito shows up and takes Alita home. That night, a woman returning to her apartment is suddenly ambushed by the wanted killer. At the same time, Alita wakes to the sound of the door and finds Ito coming home late, carrying a large suitcase and a bloodstain on his hand, raising her suspicions. The next day, Alita begins assisting Ito with his patients and learns about a troubling case. A man who had his cyborg limb stolen by a group called the Jackers. These criminals sell stolen parts on the black market, which fuels the violent motorball games. Alita also hears that another woman was murdered the night before, which deepens her suspicion about Ito, especially after noticing the wound on his wrist. After finishing work, she heads out into the city and unexpectedly encounters a mysterious woman with a distinctive mark on her forehead. The woman, Kishiro, grabs Alita's hand, startling her and prompting Alita to flee. Later, Kishiro meets with Ito, and it's revealed that the two were once married. During their conversation, Kishiro accuses Ito of using the cyborg body they had originally designed for their deceased daughter to rebuild Alita. Kishiro tries to convince Ito to work with her again, hoping they can build a motorball champion, someone powerful enough to earn her a ticket to Zalem. But Ito refuses, telling her he won't create monsters. As Kishiro leaves, Ito watches her get into a car with Vector, the powerful man who runs the motorball games. Meanwhile, Alita meets up with Hugo, who's playing a casual game of motorball with his friends, including Tanji. Hugo agrees to teach her how to play and lends her a pair of roller skates. At first, Alita struggles to stay balanced and falls a few times, but she quickly adapts. Before long, she's racing across the court and scoring points with ease, impressing everyone. After the game, Hugo treats Alita to her first taste of chocolate, which delights her. As they enjoy the moment, they spot a man named Zapan walking by. He's a hunter warrior, a licensed bounty hunter, carrying a sword, since firearms are banned in Iron City. In the days that follow, Alita settles into a routine, helping Ito with his patients in the mornings and spending her afternoons exploring the city with Hugo. One day, Hugo takes her to the top of a tall building for a stunning view of Zalem. There, he opens up about his dream of someday reaching the Sky City. He also mentions that Zalem dumps its waste into the scrapyard below, where Ito found Alita. That means she may have originally come from Zalem herself. That evening, Alita pretends to go to bed but secretly follows Ito when he slips out. She tracks him to a dark alley, where she sees him trailing a woman named Nishiana. When Ito pulls a scythe-like weapon from his suitcase, Alita assumes the worst and intervenes, unintentionally giving away their position. But things aren't as they seem. Ito is actually a hunter-warrior, targeting dangerous criminals for their bounties. This particular setup was a trap orchestrated by Gruishka, a powerful cyborg. Nishiana and Romo, both enhanced cyborgs themselves, are his subordinates. Ito manages to land a hit and tear off Romo's arm, but Romo quickly joins forces with Nishiana, and together they overpower Ito. Desperate to save Ito, Alita leaps into the fight and takes down Romo with surprising ease, moving with the skill and precision of someone built for combat. While Gruishka blocks Ito from helping, Alita turns her focus to Nishiana and swiftly defeats her as well. Gruishka, stunned by her abilities, steps in to fight her himself. As Alita launches into a powerful spinning kick, a sudden flashback hits her. In the vision, she sees herself in specialized battle armor, fighting in a brutal war on the surface of the moon. A commanding woman named Gelda calls out to her, referring to her by the designation 99. Back in the present, Alita completes her powerful kick, severing Gruishka's arm. She then grabs Ito's scythe and launches a final strike, forcing Gruishka to retreat through a hole in the ground. Later, Ito visits the hunter-warrior headquarters to turn in Nishiana's body and claim the bounty. The money helps him keep his clinic running and continue caring for the city's people. Back at home, Alita tells Ito about the vision she experienced and demands to know more about who she really is. Ito opens up, explaining that the body he used to rebuild her was originally meant for his daughter, also named Alita, who had been confined to a wheelchair. Ito tells Alita that everything changed one tragic day when an addicted patient stormed into the clinic, desperate for drugs to boost himself before a motorball match. When he found nothing, he became violent and killed their daughter, Alita. Chiron was devastated and couldn't cope with the loss. She left soon after. Driven by grief and rage, Ito went after the man responsible, planning to kill him. That experience revealed a dark truth. He was good at hunting killers. It was what ultimately led him to become a hunter-warrior. Ito explains that while he gave the rebuilt Alita their daughter's body, her brain and central core are original, left intact from when he found her. Her core, he reveals, is powered by an antimatter microreactor, an incredibly rare and powerful technology, strong enough to power the entire city of Iron City by itself. Ito reveals that Alita's core technology hasn't been produced since after the fall, making her over 300 years old. Meanwhile, Gruishka returns to Chiron, badly damaged but eager for revenge. He tells her about Alita's extraordinary combat abilities. Intrigued, Chiron agrees to repair him. Soon after, Vector arrives to question Gruishka, but during the conversation, Gruishka's demeanor suddenly changes. It's revealed that Nova, the mysterious overlord of Zalem, is speaking through him. Nova has the ability to hijack and control any cyborg he chooses within Iron City. Nova explains that Alita uses a lost and deadly martial art called Panzerkunst, an elite fighting style from before the fall. He orders Chiron to fully rebuild and upgrade Gruishka so he can destroy Alita. Then, taking control of Vector himself, Nova tempts Chiron with an offer to work for him, and he'll grant her passage to Zalem. Later, Ito checks the bounty listings and realizes Gruishka's name is missing. Someone is clearly protecting him. Meanwhile, Alita tells Ito she wants to become a hunter-warrior, but he refuses. Angry and defiant, she runs off and finds Hugo, who takes her to a motorball match. As they watch the brutal competition, Hugo uses his connections to sneak her backstage. He explains that the motorball champion earns a ticket to Zalem. Alita spots Chiron and Vector there, overseeing cyborg fighters they've engineered. However, the current frontrunner isn't one of theirs, prompting Chiron to ask Vector to get his parts so she can rebuild Gruishka with them. Later that night, as the motorball winner celebrates his victory, he's ambushed by a gang of jackers who trap him in a ring of fire. They load him into a van and strip him of his arms, parts that Vector later arrives to purchase on Chiron's behalf. It's then revealed that the jackers are actually Hugo and his friends, doing this for profit. Vector instructs them to deliver the arms, while he finishes off what's left of the cyborg. The following day, Hugo and his friends take Alita beyond the city to show her a stunning natural view. At the bottom of a lake lies a fallen warship, a relic from the conflict with the United Republics of Mars. Though some scrappers have scavenged parts from it, most avoid the wreck because the technology is more advanced and they can't use it. Hugo believes being out of the city might help Alita recover her lost memories. Alita suddenly dives into the lake, breathing effortlessly underwater. She walks along the lakebed and enters the ship. Inside, she finds a strange door that leads to a mysterious force field. As if instinctively familiar with the place, Alita activates a control panel and disables the shield, revealing a highly advanced armored body. She takes it with her. Back at home, Alita asks Ito to transfer her into the new body, explaining that she feels a deep, inexplicable connection to it. But Ito refuses. He tells her the body is a berserker, an advanced, weaponized cyborg frame designed for warriors trained in the deadly art of Panzerkunst. The ship responded to Alita's core because she was originally created as a weapon. Ito fears that giving her this body will push her back into that role, and he wants her to have a chance at a normal life. Undeterred by his concerns, Alita heads to the Hunter Warrior headquarters to register. Alita then asks Hugo to take her to the bar where the Hunter Warriors gather. On the way, the dog from the other day joins them, trotting loyally by her side. Inside the bar, Zapan mocks Alita for being just a little girl and introduces her to the strength of the other warriors, including McTeague and his pack of cyborg hounds. He proudly shows off his Damascus blade, a weapon sharpened to a monomolecular edge. He boasts that it was forged before the war using the lost arts of Iron City metallurgy. Unbothered by Zapan's taunts, Alita addresses the room, asking the warriors to join her in hunting down Gruishka. The suggestion is met with laughter and ridicule as they tell her there is no bounty on him. Zapan mocks her again, and when Alita fires back with an insult, making the other Hunter Warriors laugh. Unable to handle the embarrassment, Zapan angrily attacks Alita, but Alita effortlessly beats him without breaking a sweat. Zapan is left humiliated. Alita boldly challenges the Hunter Warriors to a fight, declaring that if she wins, they must agree to help her. But after witnessing how easily she took down Zapan, no one is willing to step forward. She mocks them for being cowards, her words stinging enough to ignite tension. Soon, a full-on brawl erupts. Alita dominates the chaos with precision and power, swiftly overpowering the entire bar, including the seasoned warriors. Just as she gains the upper hand, Dr. Ito arrives and intervenes. His presence and stern warning saying there will be no more free repairs for the Hunter Warriors, bringing the fight to a halt. At that moment, Gruishka arrives, announcing that he's there to capture Alita. To show he's not bluffing, he unveils his deadly grind cutters and demonstrates their power by viciously attacking one of the Hunter Warriors. He makes it clear that Alita is his only target. The rest of the crowd, intimidated by his strength, stays back, unwilling to interfere. Suddenly, the small dog that had bonded with Alita steps forward, barking defiantly at Gruishka. Without hesitation or mercy, Gruishka kills the dog. Alita, furious and heartbroken, kneels beside the fallen animal and uses its blood to streak her face with war paint. Fueled by rage, she faces Gruishka head-on, dodging his strikes with sharp precision. In response, Gruishka slams his grind cutters into the floor, shattering it and opening a massive hole that drops them into his underground lair. Without hesitation, Alita leaps into the hole after Gruishka. A brutal fight erupts in the dark underground lair. Alita moves with extraordinary precision and agility, her combat instincts razor-sharp as she pushes back against Gruishka's relentless assault. But his grind cutters prove overwhelming. In a devastating strike, he lands a blow that tears through her body. At that moment, Alita experiences a sudden flashback, an image of her training, where her mentor reminds her that Nova is the true enemy. Summoning every last ounce of strength, she lunges forward with her only functioning arm and drives it into Gruishka's eye, gouging it out. Her arm is left embedded in his skull. Just then, Dr. Ito, Hugo, and McTeague, the dogmaster, arrive. Working together, they force Gruishka to retreat. Ito scoops up the badly damaged Alita and hurries her back to his lab to save her life. Ito saves Alita by transferring her into the berserker body, which instantly syncs with her and begins adapting to her unique physiology. By the next morning, Alita feels more powerful than ever and discovers a new ability. Her fingers can generate plasma. Later, she meets with Hugo and explains that the nanotech in her new body has made her texture sensors far more sensitive. Curious and gentle, Hugo touches her arms and face, allowing her to truly feel human contact for the first time. The moment leads to a kiss between them. Meanwhile, Gruishka throws a furious tantrum over his defeat. His rage is cut short when Nova takes control of Vector's body to reprimand Gruishka and remind him of his true mission. Later, Vector invites Hugo for a drink. Years ago, Vector had promised Hugo a chance to reach Zalem if he did Vector's dirty work and paid him enough money. Vector convinces him to persuade Alita to enter the motorball tryouts. The next day, Alita finds Hugo in his apartment. They talk about his dream of reaching Zalem, and Alita offers to give him the money she earns from bounty hunting to buy a ticket from Vector. Hugo, concerned for her safety, insists he doesn't want her putting herself at risk for him. But Alita tells him she'd do anything for him, even give him her heart. To prove it, she literally removes her heart from her chest and offers it to him. Shocked, Hugo gently refuses. He then tells her that Vector wants to see her compete in motorball. Alita agrees on one condition. Hugo must become her coach. If she wins, they can both go to Zalem together. On the night of Alita's first major game, Ito equips her with extra protection and specially designed skate feet. Alita chooses the number 99, a tribute to memories she holds dear. Meanwhile, Vector gathers the other players, offering a massive reward to anyone who kills Alita during the match. Elsewhere, Hugo sees Tanji and the others stripping parts from a cyborg. Hugo declares he wants out of the business, sparking a heated argument with Tanji, and their argument quickly turns into a fight. Their fight is abruptly interrupted by Zapan, who murders the disassembled cyborg to frame the jackers. He then attacks Hugo, injuring his shoulder. Tanji rushes to help his friend, but Zapan swiftly kills him with his blade. Hugo seizes a moment to distract Zapan with a Molotov cocktail and makes a run for it, but Zapan quickly takes off in pursuit. Back at the stadium, Ito notices something's off. Alita's opponents aren't regular players. They're all marked bounty hunters or hunter warriors, meaning it's a setup. He urgently contacts Alita through her system's communicator to warn her. Despite the danger, Alita chooses to stay and fight. The enemies are tough and manage to land a few blows, but Alita's skill and strength far surpass theirs. One by one, she takes them down with ease. Suddenly, Alita receives a call from Hugo, desperately asking for help to stop Zapan. Without hesitation, she leaps through the stadium's giant screen and exits the building, with the other players chasing after her. Now out in the open with more space to maneuver, Alita makes quick work of her pursuers, effortlessly taking them down. She rushes to find Hugo, who is moments away from being killed by Zapan. Alita arrives just in time, slamming Zapan away from him. But before they can catch their breath, the bounty screens light up. Hugo is now wanted for murder. Shocked, Alita turns to him. Hugo admits he used to be a jacker, but insists he never killed anyone. Alita is left shaken by this news. Zapan, picking up his sword, orders Alita to step aside so he can finish his task. Alita fiercely threatens to kill him if he touches Hugo. Zapan reminds her that interfering with a hunter warrior and their target is a crime. Before Alita can react, Zapan stabs Hugo with his blade. A Centurion arrives, demanding Hugo's body, but Alita grabs him and escapes. In a hidden spot, Hugo insists he never killed anyone and says he quit his job for her. They kiss and confess their love. Watching from a distance, Chirin is moved by their bond. When Vector contacts her, she lies, saying she lost track of them. Chirin then offers to help Alita save Hugo's life. Moments later, Alita emerges carrying Hugo's head in her arms. The Centurion accepts this as confirmation that she's completed the bounty. However, Zapan inspects the head closely and realizes that Chirin has secretly linked Hugo's brain to Alita's core. Enraged, Zapan attacks Alita, but assaulting another hunter is a violation of the rules. The Centurion immediately designates Zapan as a criminal. This gives Alita the chance to strike back, destroying Zapan's face and claiming his sword. Hours later, Ito finishes constructing a new, though basic, body for Hugo. He tells Alita that Vector's promises were lies. The only true path to Zalem is by becoming the champion. Ito knows this because he and Chirin are originally from Zalem. They were exiled by Nova after he deemed their daughter imperfect. Ito reveals that he removed the mark from his forehead to leave that life behind for good. Meanwhile, Vector confronts Chirin for letting Alita escape. Chirin explains that Alita reminded her of who she truly is, a doctor and a mother, and that she no longer cares about Zalem. She wants out. Unwilling to let her go freely, Vector sends a guard after her. At the same time, Alita, determined to avenge Hugo, heads to the Hunter Warriors' headquarters, located within the massive cyborg factory building. Wielding Zapan's sword, Alita storms the cyborg factory, destroying the Centurions and dismantling the entire bounty system. She then bursts into Vector's office, only to find that he's harvested Chirin's body parts to sell. Shocked by the discovery, Alita doesn't notice Gruishka sneaking up behind her. He strikes, injuring her hip and triggering another flashback. In the memory, Alita, Gelda, and their unit are attempting to reach Zalem by climbing the cargo tubes. Suddenly, a serrated defense ring activates, slaughtering most of the soldiers. Only Alita and Gelda survive, until the ring slices the tube in half. Alita barely clung to the edge, but Gelda pulled her back up, reminding her that their mission was to destroy Zalem. Snapping back to reality, Alita rises to her feet as her body rapidly heals. With newfound clarity, she declares that she now understands who her real enemy is. Gruishka is merely a puppet. When he lunges at her again with his grind cutters, she effortlessly slices them in half with her sword. In a single, fluid motion, she cuts Gruishka in two, defeating him with ease. With the battle over, Alita turns her attention to Vector, demanding that Nova reveal himself and speak through Vector's body. Nova seizes control of Vector's body, commending Alita for exceeding his expectations, defeating Gruishka and even turning Chirin against him. But his praise quickly turns to menace as he threatens to kill Dr. Ito and Hugo if he can't get to her. Alita drives her blade into Vector's body, ending his life. As he collapses, she warns Nova. Underestimating her was his greatest mistake. At that moment, Ito contacts Alita, warning her that Hugo has fled. Centurions are after him. Desperate, Alita searches for him and finds him climbing the tube, still chasing his dream of reaching Zalem. Despite her pleas and warnings that Nova is using him to get to her, Hugo agrees to come back with Alita, but Nova, watching from afar, activates the tube's defense system. Blades shoot down the tube and Hugo tries to jump out of the way, but they destroy his cyborg body. Alita grabs him to stop him from falling, but his cyborg hand begins to detach. With his final words, Hugo thanks Alita for everything before he falls to his death. Months later, Alita has risen to fame as a motorball superstar. She steps into the arena as the crowd chants her name. In a bold move, Alita raises her sword toward Zalem in defiance. Meanwhile, Nova watches her from his city above. If you did enjoy our recap, do give us a thumbs up and share. See you on the next one.